This is You've Already Been Hacked, recorded on May 17th, 2025. Welcome back to You've Already Been Hacked. In this episode, we're going to delve into growing threats of cyber attacks and the importance of safeguarding personal and financial data. We're going to discuss a high-profile breach like the $400 million cyber attack on Coinbase and Dior's customer data scandal while exploring strategies to mitigate risks for everyday users. As always, I am the professor of CyberRisk, and with me is the Cyber Cowboy. Hello, Cowboy.
Hello, Professor.
Another fantastic cyber day. Let's get into it. Our top story, a $400 million cyber attack on Coinbase. Lessons for investors. Coinbase, as those in our industry know, and if you don't, is a major player in the cryptocurrency market, and it revealed that it fell victim to a significant cyber attack. The breach exposed account data for a quote-unquote small subset of customers, potentially affecting up to $400 million. This attack comes at a pivotal moment for Coinbase as it prepares to join the S&P 500. A move that would significantly boost its visibility and market cap. So, small subset is 400 million. Yeah, crypto is definitely worth a lot, but if they're saying that's a small subset, I wonder how much is actually invested at this point. I guess we'll find out once they're fully public, but still, that's not a small amount of change. I mean, look, we were looking at stuff that was actually less than that just a couple weeks ago and saying that was a lot of money.
Absolutely. And, yeah, they didn't get access to login credentials and passwords, but Coinbase has to reimburse people who were tricked into sending funds to the attackers because of the names in emails that were taken. Here's a fun thing of note. Insider threat, the hackers had paid multiple contractors and employees working in support roles outside of the United States to help them collect that information. Subsequently, they have been fired, but the insider threat, right, is real, and part of defensive cyber operations and posturing is to look for malicious and anomalous behavior, not only from what's happening outside, but what's happening inside.
Yeah, absolutely. This is something that we've talked about before, and I used to talk about when I gave lecture. The soft underbelly is something that can cause the biggest amount of damage the fastest, right? Our own people, quote unquote, insiders. Those people are the ones that know where all the valuable data is. Well, and maybe not all, right? Like that, the gross exaggeration for conversation's sake. But if I work for company X or I contract for company Y, I am privy to information that is not necessarily just publicly available. I can cause more damage if I decide to do so. And in this case, it looked like some people got paid off. Of note, some details that also have come out about this. The cyber attack exposed sensitive information such as names, email addresses, and phone numbers for those impacted users. Coinbase did not yet specify whether the attackers gained access to financial or transactional records, and the incident led to nearly a 3% drop in Coinbase's stock price on Thursday. It's not bad for a small subset.
Yeah, a small subset, something that would set me up and my family for life. Fun fact. Funds stolen by hacking crypto platforms totaled $2.2 billion in 2024. $2.2 billion, just a small subset.
Just a small subset of the economy right there, folks. $2.2 billion. Well, I mean, that's just again, it's a lucrative environment for cyber criminals. And obviously financially viable for them to continue to act this way because the money's there and they're either acquiring it, stealing it, getting paid off with it, all the ills, right? I mean, just like any other criminal syndicate or enterprise. But yeah, it's definitely financially a viable game for them to be playing, and the numbers don't lie. All right, let's
Right.
see what we got. Oh,
Lucrative, bring in the money, they keep going. Sorry.
yeah,
I was
no, no, it's okay. It's all right. All right, let's move on to our next story. Anne Arundel County suffered a cyber incident and has revealed it to be a ransomware attack. For those that don't know, Anne Arundel County is the county that is the home base of the headquarters for the National Security Agency. In February, Anne Arundel County experienced a significant ransomware attack that disrupted local businesses and government services. The cyber attack forced county employees to work from home and impacted essential operations like trash collection and permitting. Local businesses reported losing access to financial records and communication systems due to the ransomware. The county government ended up paying out a significant ransom to regain access to the data, though the exact amount has yet to be disclosed. And the attack highlighted vulnerabilities in small to medium sized organizations that lack robust cybersecurity infrastructure. You know, Cowboy, you would think that the county in which the U.S. government's premier cyber agency, to include the NSA and U.S. Cybercom, their headquarters, would actually have robust cybersecurity. You would think that there would be a little bit of a, I don't know, call it a exchange of information, perhaps, that would happen between the federal government and the local, state, county governments there. But it seems like no. The thing that troubles me a lot about this story at this point is here is a public government, right? County government that paid out ransomware, problem one for me, and two, has not disclosed publicly how much they actually paid. That's shocking.
nor how many people were actually impacted. Maybe they don't know yet, but more often than not, they don't like to say that publicly, whenever possible. And yeah, we've harped on it, right? Back it up, back it up, back it up. You're going to pay more now early, but you're going to save a lot of money in the long run when you don't have to pay to maybe get your stuff back, right? We covered this last week. Just because you pay doesn't mean you get your access back, right? Or doesn't mean the problem immediately goes away. So at the end of the day, just back it up.
Yeah,
Stop paying
seriously.
the ransomware.
Yeah, I don't understand why. Like, again, not privy to the information. Don't understand why they decided to pay the ransomware, the ransom amount. But just troubling again. And what this impact shows me too is, right. Yes, it wasn't just the theft of data and the ransomware attack. It's the stoppage of services, and in this case, essential, not critical, different verbiage, different meaning. Essential services such as trash collection, right? Permitting being its own thing, I get that's essential, but when you think of an essential service, I don't think a lot of people think of trash collection as quote unquote essential until it's piling up on their curb, right? This is another form of infrastructure attack that erodes confidence in services to go.
Right. And, Maryland has been seen no shortage of attacks just in this year alone, right? In mid February, the public schools were hit, revealing social security numbers, driver's license numbers, some passport information on employees, contractors, even some of the students. So you've got schools. There was an attack against the Anne Arundel Health Department. I mean, the list just goes on and on.
Well, that's very interesting that they're attacking Anne Arundel County so hard. I wonder if it's the same group or related groups that are trafficking information about the county and what's vulnerable within their systems. I wonder if there's a more systemic issue that is facing that area at this point.
For sure. Like, are they noticing that just Maryland in general is doing poor cybersecurity? Right.
Which again,
2019.
I find very troubling to hear, given the amount of cyber talent that actually resides within that state. Whether it's working for the state, private sector, federal, it's just literally the nexus point of so much of that ability and capability in the United States.
Yeah, you think there'd be second and third order effects of just having that ecosystem of tech and cybersecurity talent there. But as we've stated before, states are not putting the money in correctly. doling out talent, not hiring enough people, same systemic problems we've seen. And they paid out $18 million the city of Baltimore in 2019 to ransomware, and clearly the state officials are not learning from their mistakes.
No,
Like
clearly not.
how much damage, how much money will it cost to get your act together?
And maybe, you know what? So this could also come back to, is the old saying, is the juice worth the squeeze? Now, from where we sit with our background and our experience, the answer we would say is, well, of course, yes, but perhaps, maybe, qualifying here, from where these leaders sit, it's not impactful enough yet to have the type of response that you or I would expect. What do you think about that?
I think you're right, and I can't help but shake my head and be shocked that again it's not there. How much, right? How much gets them to finally wake up and make that change? I can't
Right,
believe we haven't hit it yet.
right.
I can't believe we
With
haven't
with
hit it
numbers like
yet.
we're like the numbers we just throwing around here, right? I wish we still haven't put the board up. We're gonna have to do that at some point. We're gonna have to just put a line in the sand and pick a screen and put the dollar up on what we're talking about every week and just add to it. Because I think within the last 7 weeks we have probably racked up in the teens of billions of dollars at this point,
Oh
easily.
yeah, yeah. We should have like the debt tracker screen, right? Like
Yeah, the
here's
impact
the
tracker screen.
uptick.
How much of the globally has been stolen just in our coverage, let alone how much is actually being lifted, right? I mean, that's that. I'm sure since we only talk folks for like 30 minutes a week, the number that we could go on and on and on and on and on with just losses, and it's just what number is enough, and I think until there's systemic impact, excuse me, sustained systemic impact, I think would be the key. Um, there's not going to be any change. That's my opinion. All right, let's
Nope.
talk about it. Let's talk about impact back in retail. So, fashion giant Dior has confirmed customer data loss due to an attack. The luxury fashion brand Dior has confirmed that a cyber attack exposed personal information of its customers. The breach affected thousands of individuals with sensitive data, including their names, email addresses, phone numbers, all potentially being leaked online. Dior has stated that it's working with quote unquote cybersecurity experts. I don't know who they're working with right now. I don't have that information in front of me. Don't know if that was public. To investigate the extent of the breach and mitigate further damage. Affected customers have been advised to change their passwords and monitor their accounts for suspicious activity because what's a little more monitoring these days. The incident also has underscored the risk faced by high profile brands with extensive customer bases. So, um, uh, the UK brand we covered for the first couple of weeks. That's a high profile brand. Here's Dior, another high profile brand getting attacked. Apparently, that's a lucrative market right now for Cyberattack.
Yeah, it sure is. I mean, we've been talking about these attacks in the UK, right? For this has got to be week four, and it, the fact that same things, systemic threats. They're not updating. They're not backing up, and they're paying.
Yeah, and customer data keeps getting thrown further and further out into the wind, right? If you are concerned about whether or not your data in these attacks or any others have been posted online or been part of a data breach that you maybe aren't totally certain of, there is a great open free resource called haveibeenpwned.com that you can go to yourself, uh, put your email address in, and it will show you through various data sets that it has acquired over time where that email address has been found. And it's kind of eye opening, right? The professor here, I have one email address that's over 20 years old and it's been in a lot of breaches, and the spam folder really shows that that's been a real thing. Another quick thing on customer data loss, excuse me, that that happened recently that is worthy of a quick mention and a correction. Not correction from us, but in general, is there was an event for our gamers out there on Steam being hacked and having 89 million accounts potentially be impacted. While that number is true, the information that's recently come out, and this is not a story, Cowboy, this is something that just popped on my desk, is that yes, 89 million tokens were impacted, but all of those tokens are already expired and are actually pretty useless. So nobody really needs to be super worried. There is no immediate reason to change your password, except the reason that you should have good cyber hygiene and change your password with a level of periodicity anyway.
Yeah, and while we all do our best to keep, I think in general, the amount of email addresses that we have down, because even for us in this industry, like it's just a pain in the butt, and I don't want to keep track of 15 different email addresses. But if you've been a part of a large scale breach and you know your information is out there, just make a new one. You kind of got to start fresh, right? If it not just emails, but if you're getting reports that emails and passwords have been stolen and are out there, just start over, move on, kind of start fresh, because the credential smashing and harvesting and reuse of accounts, we talked about this a couple weeks ago, is how they're still getting into additional places. That's why people sell those accounts and passwords, right? Because of the reuse. So if you're truly part of a big a loss of data, sometimes it's best to just make that your spam sign up email and just get a new one up for your accounts, your important accounts, your banking, right, your insurance, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I'm a glutton for punishment on two of my primary accounts. I am grateful I have put multi-factor authentication on them because on the regular, I am getting alerts for someone for authorization to my account, like the press the yes no button on your 2FA that pops up, whether it be your Microsoft Authenticator or your Google Authenticator or whatever. And I'm getting hit over and over again. It's weird. It kind of crests in activity and then it disappears. Um, and they just keep attempting to hammer these accounts. And I would think if I didn't have that step of something popping up and saying, someone just tried to log into this account, was it you? Yes or no? Um, my accounts would have been long since compromised. What's fun about that is those services show you the IP address and location of where that attempt was taking place, of none of which would have been me just based on the geolocation of it. But it's interesting to see that there's almost like a wave of periodicity that happens where I'll get a lot of these hits in like a 24, 48 hour period and then nothing, then it's gone. And then a few weeks, months go by, and then it happens again, and then it's gone. It's like people are cycling through data sets.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'd like to real quick pivot back to sort of our statistics here. So I want to make our listening crowd, known that you can Google IC3 or FBI's IC3. That's the FBI's Internet Crime Complaint Center. They have statistics over the last 5 years. They publish a really good report every year. And so for 2024, just in the United States, 16.6 billion in losses have impacted consumers, businesses, everything. A 33% increase from the year before, an average of $20,000 per person, 860,000 complaints from consumers and businesses, and it even breaks down complaints by age group. And as you would expect, 60 plus with the most complaints and the most losses, 4.8 billion, right? Because just as it is, the older generation doesn't know the technology, and they get unfortunately impacted the most. It gives a great breakdown of the types of cyber attacks that are happening, whether it's identity theft, phishing. So really good report, really good way to go out and kind of see what's going on there. But yeah, staggering amount just in the
Yeah.
U.S.
Yeah. What was the number you said? 6.6 billion since when?
It was 16.
Oh, excuse me, 16 billion.
Yes, 16.6 billion in losses in 2024.
On top of the 400 million we just talked about, plus the 2.2 billion that we just talked about this week. So that puts us at $19 billion in 2024.
Yeah, it has. So in 2020, it was 4.2 billion. Right now, we're at 16 billion in 2024. It's increasing 25 to 35% year over year.
That's incredible. Again, what's the number that causes action? That is a question that I wish I had an answer to at this point. For me, the number's already been passed, but obviously not for other decision makers. I guess for 19 billion is a quote unquote small subset of the global economy, so it's just the cost of doing business still at this point.
Yeah, that was the key word right there. It's just the cost of doing business.
Yeah.
Staggering.
Cowboy, as I look at our show notes, I don't know that there's anything else I personally want to bring up. Is there anything else you want to bring up for this week in our audience?
No, just I want to hit it home one more time, not to beat the dead horse, but be vigilant, be cognizant of when you're getting notified that your data potentially was breached, and what data. Was it just an email? Was it an email and password? In that case, you have to get in and start making those changes, tracking where you're using that email and password combination, and go in and get it changed, because they're going to start hitting it immediately. Two-factor authentication, it's a must. Almost every place, at least if they don't mandate it, usually at least have an option now. And if the option is there, get it turned on, right? Because it's really the best defense right now for the average user. So, as always, I'm Cyber Cowboy. Stay frosty. If you can't stand the heat, get out of the server room.
And if that horse is digital, it'll just respawn anyway. I'm the Professor of CyberRisk, and we'll see you next time. That's all for the news this week. I'm your Professor of CyberRisk. We'll talk again soon. If you like this podcast, share it with your colleagues and friends. Your support is how we are able to continue to make this content. Thank you.